Yeah, they're more upset at me of talking about like this kind of thing or the energy or the devices, and they're really upset about me, talking about the regenerative medicine part. As far as talking about ETs, they're like, it's fine. Like seriously, they worried more about the money making stuff because there's no money, talking about extraterrestrials for them, for the governments and the corporations. But for us, this is what we do. We're trying to disclose.
So that's all it is to this one area. And these are all over the planet, and they've been using these. The ETs have been using them forever, and they actually have on film ETs going through these ancient stone portals, and also in the oceans. They don't know how to bring craft yet, or mechanical things like vehicles through these yet, but I'm sure they'll perfect that. And since they haven't perfected it, just with humans walking through, which are just, expendable assets to corporations, by the way, that, it's a scary thing. But the adventure is there. The journey is there. Like astronauts, I'm sure, they do it because, they want to be that person. Every little kid wants to be an astronaut and go amongst the stars. It's just a driven thing in a lot of people with that lineage. So these explorers, we end up doing these things and becoming addicted to it, even though we know there's a bad mortality rate with it. It's the sense of adventure and to do something no one's ever done before. So using an atmospheric water generator out there, which is just a solar powered fan that's, blowing through these coils, you can have just many hundreds of gallons of water consistently going all day long, even at night with the batteries that charge it up. So that these people can have atmospheric pure water from the air. And this can also be done in deserts, even though there's low humidity, and collect water from just the atmosphere indefinitely for free. Decisions, well, they don't. There's other factors in there that everyone has to benefit. Everyone has to get a piece of the pie, and we are the slaves. And it just we never get out of that level of frequency. We're here now. We're raising that frequency. We're changing the minds of these people. But until everyone gets on the same page, it's always going to be this. I don't know how many times I've visited with the ministries of many environmental places and countries that once you get something, give it to them. And you think they're going to do the right thing with it. Instead, they want to keep it just for the VIPs, just, to keep in the castles, or just to monetize it somehow so the people still have to pay something. It's really crazy. And it's really been a letdown for me to have all these amazing technologies and get turned down by major countries and corporations that say they're going to do one thing. And then once they get it, or almost all of it, they change their mind. It's like, well, we don't need you anymore because we got 80% of your technology. And then they call me back a year later. Oh, well, we can't get this going correctly. Can you help us? And I'm like, well, you just turned your back on your own country. You're definitely going to keep turning your back on me. And I told you guys not to do that. And it's just, it really kills my heart to know that we're still not at a conscious level yet to take care of each other. And then, like I said, I'm not the only one. There's a lot of other amazing engineers and scientists out there that have amazing devices, even better than mine, that are just holding on to it and not, getting it in the right hands. And, if they do want to get in the right hands, please contact me and we'll work together to do that, because I think, we have a good trajectory of the right people in charge as far as, getting this out to everyone and not getting black boxed. Well, this one battery can charge 3 batteries. And then you're like, you're okay. They leave you alone. But if you say this one battery charges unlimited batteries, oh gosh, you're not getting anything done. So you're against the patent government, which is controlled by gas, coal, and oil, of course, and the military, because they don't want, any cures out. They don't want any free energy out. So you have to take baby steps. You have to just say, well, this device probably can cut your energy cost by 30%. It's like solar panels. You can't have a certain amount of energy coming out of solar panels. They put a cap on it. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I actually saw that.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Good.
Water. Now, where does the water come from in a self-sustaining community in the middle of the desert?
Well, that's also a very simple thing. I mean, we've been using atmospheric water generators in the military. I've built huge ones made out of cargo containers and very small ones just for our homes. And, this is no different than your air conditioner blowing a fan and collecting water from the air, and it dribbles down. And so if there's,
Well, let's talk about the other missions that you said you just got a briefing on, where people did encounter extraterrestrials.
Yes,
let's hear some specifics on that. Give me one example.
Yeah, a few of the briefings, and I became friends with one of the commanders on there who would like to divulge. He used to divulge a lot of stuff to me, and he had a lot of PTSD over it. But they were going to different, I think, planets or different parts of the universe where they were exchanging plant life and things like this. And the plants were very medicinal, and they also, the plants were very strong as far as the components of the plant were grown that they were, some of the skin of the plant was so thick it could be used for making a bulletproof vest. The actual plant.
The extraterrestrial plants?
Yeah, the extraterrestrial plants would grow so strong that they were really interested in duplicating a lot of the stuff like carbon fiber and other things that you guys see, that new filaments that have come into the arena here in the last 20 years are actually reverse engineered plants from other planets. Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's cool.
So would we then be bringing things like Chinese medical herbs over, stuff that's has a high medicinal value that's only growing here in the rainforest or something?
Yeah, they're finding, I think what they're trying to do is see if there's a correlation between the planets that they visit on these missions is there connections from this planet that maybe it seeded our planet? So they're doing a lot of genetic testing, of course, of these plant life and things to see if it can correlate with anything here on Earth with our database. Because they're trying to find out, there's a couple missions where they're just trying to find out the origins of where we really came from, to be honest. And they're doing it, utilizing minerals and meteorites and plant life.
So were you aware of what any of these extraterrestrial groups would have looked like that were these planets they were going to?
Yeah, oh no, sure. I've actually seen photos and I've seen videos of some of these missions. Everything is recorded, by the way, when you go through these portals with these teams. And a lot of the training films that we have are based off of, of course, teams that have already been through and some of the things that they may or may not experience, and also some of the, negative things that happen. Someone getting hurt on a mission, or, someone getting burned, or, you can actually get burned going through the portal. Sometimes we don't know why, but if you're not in complete alignment when you walk through this line, there's a line on the ground that you have to walk the line to go through this, and if you're off a little bit, and a couple of people had their arms out or something, and they had really bad burns on their arms. We don't know, what that is, and that happens within a split second. So as soon as you walk through, you might be sitting there going to collect some plant life, but yet now I got to heal two people that are in desperate need of medical attention and in severe pain. And then, of course, we abort usually everything at that time and return back. And I just guarantee you right now, the hardest thing to do is carrying two people and walking the line back. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. Without getting hurt.
The moment that you actually walk through the door is the moment that you're traveling what could be an unfathomable distance. Was there any noticeable change in the way your body felt at the actual moment you walked through?
The only thing I've ever had a problem with was there was always a pressure change. So I have already kind of bad sinuses. I'm sorry, guys, I'm losing my voice. It's the fourth, fifth day here. So excuse me, but the sinuses, I'm very sensitive to pressure, like when you're on a plane or when you're hiking up really tall mountains, or, I scuba dive a lot deep. So the pressure really messes with me. And the things I've noticed the most by going through here, that was the only negative thing that had happened to me, was extreme pressure headaches that would happen that could really discombobulate you. It wouldn't last long because maybe by going into these different areas and different planets or wherever they had me going, that I had to acclimate really quick. The body would acclimate pretty quickly within 5 or 15 minutes. And a lot of people would get, what do you call this, this sickness, this. Well, yeah, they get vertigo, motion sickness, but when you go up in the mountains and they get the elevation sickness, and it might also be because of the oxygen content. A lot of the places we are really high up in elevation, and we can read elevation, by the way. We do have, we don't have compasses, but we do have other devices that measure the air quality, parts per million, to make sure the air is clean. Just so you know, they always send probes through these devices 1 million times before they send a human through. So, and usually the probes come back. If not, then we probably don't go there. Or if they come back looking different, it immediately, the entire place goes on lockdown. And there's never anyone around that device because of this exact reason, that if someone comes back contaminated, or if there's a probe that comes back contaminated, everyone is so close to the walls, because all the walls are these sliding glass doors where they just open, you step outside, and the whole place gets decontaminated. Yeah. Even the people. Yeah.
And that's with fire, or what is it? What?
There goes Dave again. No, it's this big plasma. No. It's actually done by a gas. It's done by gas. Yeah, a special kind of gas. Kind of like what we use in surgery, the ethylene oxide. And if that doesn't work, they do have other things. They have a special type of acid. And that's why these floors are very special, and they do have big drains on them and everything, because hundreds of gallons of fluid will come down to cleanse the area and the people. Kind of like when you are at your work and you get something in your eye and you have these eye wash stations. Well, they do that for the whole auditorium. Yeah.
Is this like a fire in a nozzler?
Oh, whoa, no, it's not that bad, Dave. The nozzler, they know about the nozzler?
I don't think they know what the nozzler is. Should we let them in on that one? We laughed about that so much.
You never want to get nozzled. It's like the worst thing in the projects. You never come back.
Pete Peterson told me about a classified munition that I guess, I don't know if he invented it or whatnot. He invented a lot of nasty stuff. But it's a bullet that has a hole in the front, which is the nozzle. And it has these little titanium kidney beans that are asymmetrical, so they kind of flip around as they're flying. And so if you shoot somebody with a nozzler, all that is left once that hits them is this 30-foot wide ring of red on the ground. And you're completely vaporized in one shot. And so we've often wondered about, the tactical application of these and where were they used and why would you make something like this.